What are, say, 3 pieces of advice you would give to people who are looking to succeed in business?
Well, by far the best investment you can make is in yourself. For example, communication skills. I tell the students that come that they're going to graduate schools and business, and they're learning all these complicated formulas and all that. If they just learn to communicate better, both in writing and they increase their value at least 50%. You know, I mean, if you can't communicate, somebody says, you know, it's like winking at a girl in the dark. Nothing happens, you know, basically. And you have to be able to get forth your ideas, and that's relatively easy. I did it myself with the Dale Carnegie course. Some people wish I'd taken a shorter course now in terms of my talking later on, but it's just hugely important. And if you invest in yourself, nobody can take it away from you. I advise students, as much as possible, look for the job that you would take if you didn't need a job.
What about life advice?
Well, life advice is, you know, the most important thing you associate with. You want to associate with people that are better than you are. I mean, basically, you'll go in the direction of the people that you associate with, and you want to have the right heroes. You want people, if you want to emulate somebody, you better pick very carefully who you want to emulate. And when obviously you can't pick your parents, they're going to have an enormous influence on you, but you don't get a choice on that. But you get choices as you go down the line, and who you admire, who you want to copy, and the most important for most people in terms of that decision is their spouse. It's also important in terms of a partner in business, but the partner in life is the most important one. You want to pick a spouse that's better than you are, and then he or she, and you hope they don't figure it out too fast. If you risk something that is important to you for something that is unimportant to you, it just does not make any sense. I don't care whether the odds are 100 to 1 that you succeed or 1,000 to 1 to succeed. If you hand me a gun with 1,000 chambers, 1,000,000 chambers in it, and there's a bullet in one chamber, and you said, put it up your temple, how much do you want to be paid to pull it once? I'm not going to pull it. You know, you can name any sum you want, but it doesn't do anything for me. We'll always have problems. I mean, you know, ever since I got out of school, I used to sell stocks. They'd always give me 10 reasons why you shouldn't buy them, and you've heard them all throughout your life. But the world does not belong to the pessimists, believe me. You're selling happiness, and it's, you know, and having it at arm's length away is a big part of it. And you know, the distribution system, the development, it's the right formula, Muhtar, and it just has to be carried out with, you know, with extreme diligence, enthusiasm, and every minute of the day. Picture Omaha in 1937. I was 7 years old, and no air conditioning, so the summers were hot and humid. People went out on their lawns at night just to try and cool off, and I got the idea that maybe I could sell them what you would call soft drinks and we called pop. So I went around to a bunch of gas stations, and in those days every gas station had a cooler, and it had a little opener on the side and something to catch all the bottle caps. So I went around and collected all the bottle caps for weeks at these various gas stations. I collected 8,000 of them. And then I sorted them all out. And I saw that they were, Coca-Cola overwhelmed everybody else. They were these little silver-like ones in those days. And my grandfather had a grocery store, so I went to my grandfather and I said, how about giving me a deal on Coke so I can sell it around the neighborhood? And he sold me at the rate of 6 bottles for a quarter, and I went around and sold them for a nickel each. And I sold out every time. I had no inventory, I had no receivables, I had the best business I ever had. Those are low return businesses, but time is the friend of the wonderful business. It's the enemy of the lousy business. If you're in a lousy business for a long time, you're going to get a lousy result, even if you buy it cheap. If you're in a wonderful business for a long time, even if you pay a little too much going in, you're going to get a wonderful result if you stay in a long time. I like to study failure, actually. And my partner says, all I want to know is where I'll die, so I'll never go there. And we want to see what has caused businesses to go bad. And the biggest thing that kills them is complacency. I mean, you want a restlessness, a feeling that somebody's always after you, but you're going to stay ahead of them. You always want to be on the move. The danger would always be you rest on your laurels. That restlessness, that belief that is the key. Tomorrow is more exciting than today. You just have to have it permeate the organization. I mean, you really want your decision making to be by looking in the mirror and saying to yourself, I'm buying 100 shares of General Motors at 55 because. And I mean, it's your responsibility if you're buying it, and there's got to be a reason. And if you can't state the reason, you shouldn't buy it. If it's because somebody told you about it at a cocktail party, not good enough, you know. That we stick to pretty carefully. That's one of the things Ben Graham taught me. I like numbers. Started before I could remember. I knew I was going to be interested in stocks the rest of my life, but probably at the time I was, 8 or 9. I used to keep charts on all kinds of stocks when I was that age. My aunt gave me a world almanac, so I memorized the population of all of cities of any real size. But I just like numbers. My grandfather had a grocery store, and I used to buy Coca-Cola from him in 6-packs for $0.25 and sell them for $0.05 each. I sold the Saturday Evening Post door to door. I sold Ladies Home Journal. I had all kinds of little ventures. Not all hugely successful, I might add. I liked doing business early on. I would follow my passion. I mean, whatever turns you on. I was lucky. I found something early that turned me on. But you don't want to take a job just for the money. You don't want to take a job for an organization that you really don't feel good about, or work for people that you don't feel good about. You really want to be excited when you get out of bed every morning. And it won't necessarily be the job that you have 10 years later, but you'll be learning so much as you go along. To have the right heroes. I mean, I've always been lucky in that respect. If the people you look up to are going to form your vision of what the world, how you want to be in later life. And I'll give you 2 pieces of advice. I'd invest as much in myself as you can. I mean, you're your own biggest asset by far. You're going to make mistakes in life. I mean, there's no question about it. You don't want to make them on the big decisions, who you marry and some things like that. So there's no way I'm going to make a lot of business and investment decisions without making some mistakes. I may try to minimize them. I don't dwell on them at all. I don't look back. The triumphs in life are partly triumphs because you know that everything isn't going to be a triumph. I would never get too hung up on mistakes. I know a lot of people that really agonize over them, and it just isn't worth it. I mean, tomorrow's another day, and you live it forward. Just go on to the next thing. I can certainly define happiness, because that's what I am. I mean, I get to do what I like to do every single day of the year, and I get to do it with people I like. I tap dance to work, and it doesn't diminish. It's tremendous fun. So success is getting what you want, and happiness is wanting what you get. Well, I don't know which one applies in this case, but I do know that I wouldn't be doing anything else. I mean, I do advise you, when you go out to work, go to work for an organization that you admire, people you admire, because it'll turn you on, and you ought to be happy where you are working. If I gave you a car, and it'd be the only car you get the rest of your life, you take care of it like you can't believe it. Any scratch, you'd fix that moment. You read the owner's manual, you keep a garage, you do all these things, and you get exactly one mind and one body in this world. And you can't start taking care of it when you're 50. By that time, you'll have rusted out if you haven't done anything. So you should really make sure that you just remember that you just got one mind and body to get through life with, and to do the most of it. If you get to be 65 or 70 and later, and the people that you want to have love you actually do love you, you're a success. The best investment you can make is in yourself. If you invest in yourself, nobody can take it away from you.